3 Examples of the Power of Audio by Jeff Jorgensen. I recently returned from a family vacation that included several visits to some great museums, as well as sightseeing tours and even a radio broadcast recording. Many of these experiences confirmed my long-held belief in the power of audio. Here are 3 examples that demonstrate what I'm talking about. Number 1. Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. One of the funniest programs on radio today is the NPR news quiz Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, which is recorded before a live studio audience in Chicago. As longtime fans of the show, we planned our trip to include dates in Chicago when we could see one of the shows being recorded. What fun! Peter Sagal, Bill Curtis, and the panel of Faith Salie, Luke Burbank, and Negin Farsad were hilarious. The show was a riot, and they all even stuck around afterwards for a quick visit and autographs. We loved the opportunity to see the cast on stage and get a bit of a peek behind the curtain. But here's the thing. It would have been every bit as funny if I'd had my eyes closed the entire time. The broadcast that went out over the NPR airwaves a few days later was no less funny than the performance in the auditorium. Watching the production and meeting the cast was very cool, but the power of audio is such that the program is fantastic without any visuals necessary. Number 2, the Rock and Soul Museum. We took in a lot of amazing museums on our trip. We saw dinosaurs, moon rocks, Monets, Elvis's first guitar, and a B-17 Liberator. But the museum where I received the best educational experience was the Rock and Soul Museum in Memphis, thanks to a tremendous self-guided audio tour. The audio tour combined narrations with musical examples to explain how gospel, country, blues, and jazz were all blended together to create innovative new styles that became rock and soul music. I came to appreciate how both white and black musicians broke free of color barriers that were dividing so many other areas of our culture and integrated music in revolutionary ways. Audio allowed me to hear and understand the impact of pioneers like Jackie Brenston, Albert King, Carl Perkins, and Harold Foreman, and how they paved the way for legends like Johnny Cash and Elvis Presley. The power of audio made all of that clear to me in ways that the written word or visuals could not. Number 3, the Creole Queen Riverboat Cruise. In New Orleans, we took the historical river cruise to the Chalmette battlefield, where the famous Battle of New Orleans was fought. On the way out, our cruise narrator Charles shared many details about the history of New Orleans and the events leading up to the battle. It was all very nice. But then on the way back, we were treated to a fantastic example of how a great storyteller can transport you to another time and place, as Charles shared the entire saga of Hurricane Katrina and its impact on the city. Charles broke down how the entire tragedy unfolded with an incredible number of details, many of which I was familiar with, but tons of facts that I had never heard before. He was able to deliver his narration without revealing any political agenda. There were multiple blunders from all levels of government, and plenty of blame to go around. We as an audience were made to understand the fears, frustrations, and lawlessness of the first several days, the change in fortunes that arose when the 82nd Airborne Division took charge, feel pride in the city's resilience, and appreciate the explosion of joy that erupted when the New Orleans Saints won the Super Bowl. Charles's riveting 20-minute talk with nothing for us to look at but the banks of the Mississippi River is another example of the power of audio. From my childhood days when I would listen to rebroadcasts of old radio shows on KSFO in San Francisco, I learned how a good audio experience can be every bit as impactful as any visual experience. It was great to be reminded of that fact at several points on our recent trip, and I'm delighted that there are so many venues that are taking advantage of the amazing power of audio.